All right, y'all. So I just woke up. Was live last night with Corin for the Knicks game, and we lost. And this shit is 100% on Donald J. Trump. It is 100 million, trillion, zillion, quadrillion % on Donald J. Trump. He ruined the vibes. And now it's a series because it's 2-1 instead of 3-0. And let me just show you some of the shit that I'm talking about. Okay, so first of all, here's the reaction of the crowd when they show him. They tried to get slick. They were like, "Oh, maybe he won't get booed if we show him during the national anthem, because that'll make people think like, oh, it'll look like I'm booing the national anthem in the country, so I can't boo." Bad idea, you dumb fucks. It didn't matter. People were booing like crazy. Watch this. Then you have the watch parties. So at the watch parties, like there was one at Bryant Park, okay, packed with New Yorkers. That crowd also booed when they showed Trump on the big screen. Watch this. Then you have people on the street as the motorcade's going by booing the shit out of Trump. Watch this. Then they asked Trump as he was leaving, and he was like, "Oh yeah, nah, they didn't boo me, bro. That was like mostly cheers." Watch this. Look at this cope.
Did you see Mayor Mamdani at the game?
I did not, no.
What did you think of the reception you got from the Knicks fans tonight?
I thought great. I mean, I thought it was amazing, actually. You mean when they had the camera on me? I thought it was very good, yeah. It was certainly amazing. It was. I think mostly cheers. It was loud and it was very enthusiastic.
But man, we were cooked before tip-off even happened, because that whole place was packed full of war criminals and pedophiles, bro. You had Epstein's neighbor, Howard Nutlick, there, and you had Epstein's best friend for 15 years, Donald Trump, there. Here's them eating pizza in the box. Look at this shit. Then you have this motherfucker had blocks of New York shut down, inconvenienced everybody, made them get to the game 2 hours early just to fucking get in, okay? And then he just falls asleep in the box. As, by the way, people were predicting he would do beforehand. This motherfucker with his cognitive decline, he's up all night, but he sleeps all day, and so he's sitting in the box during the NBA Finals next to James Dolan, the billionaire owner who invited his ass. By the way, fuck that guy too. And look at Trump sleeping during the game. Watch this. Now, by the way, a screenshot floating around Twitter. The free throw differential in the second half, 22 for the Spurs, 4 for the Knicks. So we were cooked from the beginning. The fix was in. They don't want this series to be a sweep. So the refs went hard trying to defend the Spurs. Now, the Knicks didn't play well, but they still would have probably won the game if the refs didn't absolutely rig the shit to the high heavens. So 22-4, free throw disparity, okay? And then also, look at these insane missed calls, bro. So Wemby literally grabbing Jalen's hair and throwing him to the ground isn't even called a common foul. Never mind a flagrant. Okay, they don't even call that bitch a common foul, bro. Insane, right? But Jalen gets a flagrant for this. Look at this, which nails him a flagrant. Absolutely out of this world.
He played a lot of games on this court as well. Played his college ball at St. John's. That's an interesting one. You don't typically see the defender turn his back to the shooter to where his foot came down on Jalen Brunson's calf area.
Well, you still have to
Replay has determined that this closeout was reckless, and therefore Brunson will be assessed a flagrant foul, penalty 1.
Anytime one of the feet.
So we were always cooked, bro. We were cooked before tip-off. War criminals and pedophiles all up in that bitch. Donald Trump ruining the vibe, destroying the energy for everybody. The refs rigging the shit to try to stretch out the series. Fuck, man. Fuck.
All right, y'all, welcome to the show. Hope everybody out there is having a great day. Prepare yourself, man. All I have to say is prepare yourself, because your president is now going on homoerotic rants in the middle of the day in front of massive crowds. That's what's happening. So Trump has completely and utterly lost his mind. He's gone from a low-filter guy to a no-filter guy because of his cognitive decline. And as a result of that, he can't help himself. And he starts doing homoerotic rants, lusting after men in the middle of the day. So I got amazing clips there. We'll talk about that. I also have Marco Rubio gets confronted directly to his face. He panics. He runs away as protesters call him out and say he's a war criminal, call him a cuck for Israel. So that's an amazing clip. Can't wait to show you that. We also have Erika Kirk as well gets called out to her face. Wait until you hear what the protester says, and wait until you see her reaction. Because it's ugly. It is weird and it is ugly in typical Erika Kirk fashion. And then also later on, the Atlantic Ocean current is currently in the midst of collapsing right in front of our eyes. And if indeed it does fully collapse, we're looking at a global catastrophic nightmare, the likes of which we've never seen. Totally reworking the way the world functions. And perhaps might be something that leads to the downfall of civilization as we know it. Mass starvation, horrible stuff. So you don't want to miss any of this. Really important stuff. You guys know the drill. Everybody subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon. You can also support the show on Patreon. Remember, y'all, I only say that because we are real independent media. I've never talked to an advertiser, never done an ad read, never will. You guys support the show from the ground up, and I'm deeply, deeply thankful for that. Thank you to everybody who also tips on YouTube as well. That means a lot as well. And of course, you can sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. That link is below. And Corrin's World. Everybody go sub to Corrin's World as well. We hang out there on Mondays and shoot the shit on Monday nights. You can come, come be with us. It's always a good time. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive in, and let's start with this. Okay, in the Washington Post, ballroom donors won $50 billion in contracts after giving to Trump's project, watchdog group finds. President Donald Trump has repeatedly touted the gifts as a boon to taxpayers, but critics of the project say the administration's refusal to release a full list of donors creates the potential for corruption. All I have to say is the Washington Post is being way too careful here. This isn't the potential for corruption. This is the world's most obvious corruption that anybody has ever seen, ever, all time. At first, we were told, oh, this is going to be all privately funded, and then we're good ski, it's a wrap, we're done, right? Then it became, okay, actually, we're going to go through Congress and try to get it from taxpayers. Now, this, of course, failed miserably, but they said, oh, no, did we say it was $200 million? We meant $400 million. And then they said, oh, did we say 400? We meant $600 million. And then they said, oh, did we say 600? We meant $800 million. Then it became $1 billion, okay? Failed through Congress because, of course, there'd be fucking pitchforks in the street if they actually just like robbed taxpayers to fund this Epstein Memorial Ballroom. And then we came full circle to, no, the billionaires are actually going to fund this thing. But the obvious problem with that is it's a massive conflict of interest. It's a massive fucking pay-to-play scheme. And everybody knows it's a pay-to-play scheme. So now you have detailed reporting on exactly that. They're getting favors for donating to the ballroom. The whole thing is illegal. So any billionaire, any Epstein-class billionaire who gave money, look out. Because if there's actually a decent Democratic president, they should fucking investigate you and prosecute you over this obvious open corruption. So they're a little too comfortable right now for my liking. The billionaires in the Epstein class need to fall the fucking line and realize that we have rules and regulation in this country, or at least we're supposed to. I know right now we don't under this criminal president, but we will eventually. Okay? So, add it to the list. You have the Epstein Memorial Ballroom and this giant con job, and you have that along with the millions of dollars of insider trading that Trump is doing. You have it with the suing the IRS scheme to rob taxpayers of $1.776 billion to pay off insurrectionists and terrorists and Trump's family members and his friends. You have the crypto scam shitcoin that Trump did, robbing his own supporters. You have the crypto scam shitcoin Melania did, robbing her supporters, right? Robbing MAGA in 2 ways within a 1-day period, okay? You have World Liberty Financial, the crypto exchange. You have the pay-to-play pardon scheme, which everybody knows is going on, but nobody talks about it nearly as much as they should. You have the executive branch club, which literally the whole purpose of that is illegality, is corruption, is pay-to-play bribery. Then you have the hotel in Dubai, the golf course in Qatar, the $400 million Qatari plane. Do I even need to continue here? You got the resort in Vietnam. This is a family that has stolen from children's cancer charities. Did you know that? The Trump family cannot operate a charity in New York because they stole from a children's cancer charity. That's how loathsome they are. His university was a fraud. He stiffed his workers for his hotels and casinos. He did tax fraud and insurance fraud and business fraud. He was found liable for exactly this stuff in civil court. Look at what's going on here, man. It's insane. Okay, but I'm just getting started because we learned this from the Washington Post. We also have this. ABC News says President Trump is floating the possibility of keeping the UFC arena on the White House South Lawn, built for a series of fights on his birthday and Flag Day, permanently. So he's saying, why not keep this up all the time? And the example he gives is, well, the Eiffel Tower was supposed to be temporary, and then they decided, let's leave it there permanently. Let's leave it there permanently. And now, the fucking disgusting trailer park trash garbage imagery coming from these pictures where you have the UFC fucking Thunderdome there, and next to it you have the East Wing totally destroyed, and the ongoing illegal construction, okay? It looks like this man destroyed the White House in such a short time, right? It went from being like, you know, something that gives you national pride to now it literally looks like it's been absolutely obliterated and destroyed. And we should expect no different from the ultimate white trash president. I mean, that's what he is. He is the ultimate white trash president. You want to keep a UFC ring on the lawn permanently? What the fuck is wrong with you? It's, you know, sometimes I think he's trolling us. Then I realize, well, every time I think he's trolling us, he follows through with whatever the fuck he's talking about. So no, he actually means it. He actually means it. So destroyed the White House, 15 ways to Sunday. Well, he also went to this John Deere event the other day that I wanted to show you some of this stuff in. And here he is. Again, when I say his brain's not working well, man, do I mean it. People really need to pay attention to how much this guy is gonzo these days. So listen to this. Let's start with this one. He's taking a pot shot here at Zoran and Democrats for talking about affordability.
They came in and they said, affordability. They made up the word because that's the only thing they're good at, although I'm good at making up words too.
They made up the word affordability, but that's okay because I'm also good at making up words. Huh? What? Then he does the whole like, I'm not supposed to call it a war because then it'd be illegal that I was doing it. So I'm not going to call it a war. I'm going to call it a conflict or something like that. And then fast forward, not even an hour later, listen to this.
And this is during a military conflict. I call it that because it's really not that much of a war. And we'll go pretty quickly because I have to get back to fighting a war in Iran.
This is not normal. I need you guys to stop, like, just fucking accepting that this is how it is and sort of normalizing it in your own brain. No, you should never get accustomed to this ever. This is not fucking normal. It's not even close to normal. The guy is mentally gone. The guy is a clear and present danger. He immediately needs to be impeached. He needs to be removed. He needs to be locked up. He needs to be charged, okay, for the litany of crimes that he committed. The real issue we face is, which exact things do you arrest him over? Because there's so many goddamn crimes. That's the real issue, is narrowing it down to the ones that are most prosecutable that get him the most time behind bars. That's how bad it is, y'all. So never get used to this. Never fucking just, swat it aside. This is devastating. This is devastating. Okay, here we have Trump crashes out on Lie Social, as he normally does. And here he posted an AI slop music video about how much everybody loves him. Watch this.
Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Down in Mexico, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Flew to Italy, they love Donald, Donald Trump. In the Middle East, they love Donald, Donald Trump. And some Africans, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Even in China, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Man, these Indians, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Man, I gotta say, I love Donald, Donald Trump. Might be president one day, just like Donald, Donald Trump. Just like Donald Trump.
I need you to picture him at 4 a.m., wide awake, high on Addies, sitting there, fucking smiling and giggling and laughing and calling Marco Rubio to show him this video about how much the world loves Donald Trump. The guy's not mentally well. There is not a single person on earth who has engaged in a deeper self-suck-off session than Trump. This is the only guy who all he wants is endless attention, endless pats on the head, everybody to tell him he's a special little boy. Like, my dude, you're fucking 80 years old, bro. You're 80 years old. I'm 38. I already don't give a fuck what people are saying about me to any extent whatsoever. You're near 80, and this is the shit, like, you are fishing on social media to have people say positive things about you so you can repost it and you can reshare it. It's like he is permanently stuck in, like, an insecure high school mindset. Like, that's what this is. Who does this? This is humiliating. But I still haven't even gotten to the funniest part. I'm going to save that for the very end here. First, let me show you this. So, Trump at this John Deere event again, he basically, like I said, he went from a low-filter guy to a no-filter guy. So, this is the part where he says, why am I even here? I shouldn't even be here. I should be home watching TV. I mean, I already won the election. I don't need your votes anymore. He basically admits that. Here, watch this. Here we go.
I fought for the American farmer like no one has ever fought before. Nobody's, like, I'm up here today. I don't need this. I got elected. I don't have, what the hell do I have to be here for? I got elected. I'm here because I like the farmer. I mean, when you think about it, I guess there's a lot of truth to that, right? I could be home right now in the beautiful White House enjoying watching somebody else on television talking. I fought for the American...
You have got to be kidding me. Now understand, he's saying this too as farmers are fucking barbecue chicken, dog. We just talked about screwworm. Screwworm was basically eradicated in 1966. We had a program in place to make sure screwworm never got here. Well, now, the idiots at Doge with Elon Musk and Trump, they decided, let's get rid of that program that protects us from screwworm. Now, the Texas cattle ranchers are dealing with screwworm parasites, flesh-eating parasites that are going through all of our beef. Well, isn't that lovely? So now you have, surging beef prices. You have Trump allowing beef from Argentina to undercut our farmers' beef. And that beef, by the way, is packed full of a bunch of chemicals that are horrible for us, but Trump allowed that into the country. And now you have screwworm on top of all of that. So you have this meat at a record price, and it's only going up, 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 up. And here he is going, why should I even be here? I already won the election. None of this matters. Why aren't you fucking fixing the problems that farmers are facing? Between the tariffs also, which absolutely clonked them, undercutting them with beef from Argentina, and now screwworm, you are absolutely destroying the beef market. Never mind the 1,000 other ways that farmers have been fucking left out to dry by your dumb ass. Okay, but here we go. Now, Trump can't help himself, ends up accidentally going on a very homoerotic rant. Watch this.
Two-time gold medal winner in speed skating in this year's Winter Olympics, Jordan Stolz. Where the hell is he? Whoa. Oh.
That's a big guy right there. That's a big guy. That's a big guy.
That's pretty good. Whoa. Stand up. Stand up. Yeah.
Why the fuck are they putting the medal on him, bro? What is this? What is this? This is like the shit you see with like fucking Putin or Kim Jong-un. Why are you putting the medal on him?
I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it, Jordan. I'm not giving it back. I'm a very good guy for keeping gold. I like gold. I'm never giving this back. Congratulations. I forgot to touch his leg. I didn't want to do that.
I forgot to touch his leg. I didn't want to do... Give me a non-homoerotic interpretation of that, y'all. Oh, wait. That shit doesn't exist. That shit doesn't exist, bro. Like, are you kidding me? No shot. He's not done, though.
I'm never giving this back. Congratulations. I forgot to touch his leg. I didn't want to do that. But I can tell you one thing. His leg is like a rock. That's fantastic. 2 gold medals. Wow, that's big stuff. Thank you. It's an honor. And speaking for my other athlete up here, that's pretty good, right? 2. And you go through big competition with a lot of great athletes, right? Are you going to be doing it again? Another Olympics?
I plan to be doing it until 2030, as long as I can. Until Salt Lake City in 2034.
Well, we'll
so that'll be on home soil.
We're going to be watching, okay? You could do it again.
You know what that reminded me of? People don't know about this, man. People don't know about this. I'm here to show them. Here's a compilation of Trump talk. Big, strong guy. Look at that big, strong guy.
Look at the size of that guy. Man.
He's a massive guy. This big, powerful guy. This guy he is a monster. A giant of a man.
One really large person.
I've seen a lot of people over the years. Big people.
You know, I have a friend, big guy, one of the biggest in the world.
This big, strong friend.
You know, I have a friend, big guy, one of the biggest in the world. Who says that? What does that even mean?
Money weighed like 250 then, which 250 then is big. That's like 310 now, right? This was a long time ago.
It's a lot of big people I'm standing next to.
That's some big people behind me.
Boy, they're big.
Big guy.
Big guy.
Big
guy.
He's your big guy in town, folks.
Big guy. Strong, tough. Strong man, big, tough guy.
This is a big, tough guy.
A very, very powerful guy. Big, strong guy. Big, strong guy.
Big, strong guy.
This big, strong guy comes to me.
He's big, he's strong.
A couple of big, strong guys. Big, strong guys. Big, strong guys.
Big, strong guy here.
Big, strong guys up here. Big, strong, powerful guys. Big, strong, beautiful guys.
Beautiful guys. They're West Virginia, big, strong guys. Nice guy over there. Big, strong guy. I love you, Trump, but I love you. This guy, he's like a monster. He's like this monster football player. A big, strong guy.
You're a big, strong guy. Are you a football player or something?
Big, strong, powerful players.
He's a big, strong, powerful champion.
He's a big, strong coal miner.
Massive, wonderful fireman.
A customs officer. He's a monster.
Massive, wonderful fireman. I think we all know now why YMCA is his favorite song, y'all. I think we all know now.
I just walked in, and a big, strong guy grabbed me. These guys are massive guys that grab me.
Massive guys. 2 really big.
I love it when those massive guys grab me. I love it when they do that.
Because I'm a big guy. And they grabbed me. All these big, handsome guys, these big, giant guys.
These big guys, these 3 big guys. Look at the size of these guys.
Look at the size of that guy.
Look at the size of these guys. Look at the size of this guy. Look at the size of these guys. They're monsters. Look at the size, how big and strong. That's what we like.
I saw somebody backstage, big, strong, powerful.
Big guy backstage. Come on over here, John. Big guy. Hey, Bob. Come here, Bob. Come here. He's a big guy. He's a big guy.
It actually reminds me of like a toddler pointing at somebody who's big. Big, he's big. Come on, man. His brain is just not up to snuff, man. This is not a president's brain. I'm sorry. You know where he thrives? Have you guys ever seen that clip of Wendy Williams, him on Wendy Williams' show, doling out like relationship advice? That's when this motherfucker actually came alive. That's when he looked like, oh, he's having the time of his life, giving advice to some black woman who has some relationship problems. And he's like, does he treat you well? Does he treat you nice? I don't think he treats you nice. And you're beautiful, too. You're beautiful. That's where he fucking thrives. What is this, bro? Stop bombing innocent little girls in Iran and fucking looting the treasury for the Epstein class. Just go get a daytime TV show and leave us all alone. Jesus.
Where are you? Derek. Oh, he's a big guy. Come here, Derek. Big Sam. Big John. Big Luther. Where's Big Jim? He's around here.
Big Luther? Come on, man.
Where's my big guy? Where the hell is he?
Where's Eric?
Where's my big guy? Nah, dog, nah.
You can't miss Eric. He's so big. He's a big man, isn't he? He's a big man.
Look at this size queen. He is size queening all over the place.
He's a big man. That's a big man.
He is a big man.
He's not only one of the best governors in the United States, he's definitely the largest.
He is the largest, most beautiful man.
Look at that man. He's all man. Look at him. He's
You're telling telling me he doesn't swing both ways, y'all? Oh, he definitely swings both ways. And by the way, I'm not judging that. You do you, Donald. The only thing I need you to do is stay away from them kids. Because we know, because of the Epstein files, you like them kids too. And that's not acceptable. But in terms of, hey, if you were just talking about big, strong men all day and you wanted to choke on dick, shit, that'd be fine.
He's a big man. He's all man. But he is a big man.
That is the tallest human being I've ever seen.
He is the biggest human being I think I've ever seen.
It's a big mic. It's the biggest mic I've ever seen.
Then there's the other one. I'm sure you've seen this, but there's another one. Vice had a compilation, I think, and it was better looking than Tom Cruise. This guy over here, better looking than Tom Cruise. Better looking than Tom Cruise. He said it like 1,000 times. He says it all the time. But my favorite one, my absolute favorite, is this one. Tell me this is not the quiet part loud, y'all. Here we go.
People, and I have to see people, and I know it's risky to do that, but you have to do what you have to do. You know, I'm the president. I can't sit in the basement and say, let's wait this thing out. I'm not going to do that. And now I'm immune, they tell me. I'm immune. I could come down and start kissing everybody. I'll kiss every guy, man and woman, man and woman. Look at that guy, how handsome he is. I'll kiss him. Not with a lot of enjoyment, but that's okay.
Bro, come on, man. Come on, bro. I'll tell you one thing. Even though this country is officially barbecue chicken, buckle up, sit back, and relax, because as Trump's brain becomes more and more like figgy pudding because of the Alzheimer's, man, he's going to say some wacky ass shit. There's a decent, we're at like a 38% chance that he drops an N-bomb before he's done with his time in office, bro. We're at like a 38% chance. And honestly, that's probably ticking up 1 percentage point every single day. So buckle up, because I know it feels wild and wacky right now, but it's about to get a hell of a lot more crazy. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to. So Trump's second term has been nothing short of an absolute catastrophe. It has been genuinely apocalyptic on every single front. You have the economy on the brink of utter destruction. Gas prices are up. Grocery prices are up. People are losing their jobs. We're dealing with inflation. We're dealing with unemployment, where even the market has now started to go down, but we still haven't hit rock bottom because there's going to be a massive crash at some point because there's nothing but a massive AI bubble. This has been a disaster on every front, but perhaps the worst front has been foreign policy. So we're talking about a rogue criminal regime that has relentlessly bombed fishing boats from Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago and Colombia. They did regime change in Venezuela, killing a grandma, kidnapping the president, stealing their gold and oil. Trump now has hundreds of millions of dollars in a private bank account in Qatar that he stole from the people of Venezuela. They've bombed Yemen and Somalia and Nigeria and Ecuador and Iran. Of course, they've threatened Greenland and Panama and Cuba and Mexico. He said he wants to reinvade Afghanistan. He's doing fake peace agreements, then continuing to bomb stuff. He says he stopped 8 wars when he started 8 wars and stopped 0, okay? It's been a catastrophe. But it's gotten to the point where so much is happening, people can't even keep up. So let me show you this. Clash Report says, Cuba has begun distributing weapons to civilians and urging citizens to prepare for a possible foreign invasion. The government has reportedly activated contingency plans across the country. Holy shit. So there's been a lot of reporting detailing how U.S. troops have been in place for quite a while to do a potential invasion of Cuba. You heard that correctly. Troops are in place to do a potential invasion. The Cuban government is reacting by doing all they can do, which is arming the citizens and saying, hey, if need be, use this. Protect yourself. Fight back. That's what's happening. Absolutely ludicrous stuff now, especially because the Middle East just erupted again. The hot war is back on between Israel and Iran and the U.S., okay? The world's on fire right now. The world's on fire. We'll do a separate segment on this, but the Atlantic Ocean current is in the midst of collapsing, which could plunge Europe into a fucking ice age. It just totally destroy modern civilization as we know it. And as all this is going on, it's war after war after war. You know, bombing raid after bombing raid after bombing raid. Just rank imperialism out there in front of the world for the world to see, okay? Now let me show you what's going on inside Cuba, because this stuff is absolutely devastating, and it is 100% because of the oil embargo done by Trump, done by the U.S. against Cuba. Here we go.
In Havana, survival has become part of daily life for Felicia de la Caridad Alvarez, a former hospital custodian who has one blind eye and chronic illnesses.
We've been without water for 6 months. Yesterday we hit 48 hours without power.
Despite US sanctions and fuel restrictions, and despite President Donald Trump's announcement in early January that Cuba was ready to fall, millions of Cubans like Alvarez are still going, and their government is still in charge. Resistir, meaning to resist, is a central tenet of Cuba's decades-old communist revolution, and Cubans have had years of practice surviving hardships under the island's struggling state-run economy, long plagued with shortages. Street sellers like Diosmel Ortega show just how resourceful the population is.
Everything right now, absolutely everything. Practically all these little things that we have here comes from the trash.
Oh my God, look at this. Look at this. Old combs, remotes, old calculators, old phones. Holy shit. And they're finding a way to repurpose all this stuff because they've been blocked from the modern world. They've been blocked from the modern world because of the US.
People come here a lot to buy little things, whether it's a hose, a book, a CD, or even straws. And sometimes you just stand there and think, are people really going to want a straw that someone found? Because everyone knows and is aware that it's from the trash.
Cuba-based sociologist Luis Emilio Aybar says society is resilient because it hasn't had any other choice. But there's no doubt the impact is very severe, especially if it drags on, he says, because it's very difficult for a country to survive without fuel. Blackouts have increased in recent weeks, according to Aybar, as have protests, which see residents vent their frustration by banging on pots. That's despite the government's general intolerance for uprisings. Still, the spirit of Resistir lives on in those like Omaira Blanca, who survived the hardships of the 1990s after Cuba's former patron, the Soviet Union, collapsed. We Cubans are fighters, she says. With the little we have, we survive and keep moving forward. That's just how it is. That's how we Cubans are.
So here's my question for the right. If the Cuban government is so bad and so corrupt that it's basically gonna collapse anyway, then why the fuck are you embargoing them? Why are you intervening? Why are you interfering? Why not just let it collapse under its own weight? It's gonna collapse. It's gonna collapse. You don't need to do this, right? Now, of course, the answer is they know that's not true. They know that the system would actually be fine. Cuba, despite all of the economic warfare waged by the U.S. against them, they've created an amazing healthcare system and export doctors to other countries to help people. They created their own lung cancer vaccine. This was a country that was thriving even under economic warfare waged by the imperialist West. Okay, now total fuel embargo, and it's turning into an utter catastrophe because of the outside meddling. Ready? Here we go. I got more for you.
In Havana, like every commodity, hope is in short supply. Rubbish bins are now a place to harvest as much as discard. They offer sustenance for the hungry.
All this dumpster diving is directly because of Trump, directly because of MAGA, directly because of Marco Rubio and what they're doing to this country.
Desperate must decide what will do them more harm than good. On every street corner, the same fetid mess, the same hunt for something worth salvaging. Neglices is recycling to survive. He gets 30 pesos for a kilo, that's a few pence. He'd need to collect several big bags like this just to afford a piece of fruit. Berta Baez has been picking them up all morning, but bristles at the prices here, an entire day's work just for a few bananas. She says the government gives her very little money, so she has no choice but to sell cans to be able to eat. This is a city where civic pride is a luxury they can no longer afford. It's not just the crumbling grandeur, that slow rot set in decades ago as the American blockade grew and Cuba's communist allies dwindled. But now, as a result of an American oil embargo, power shortages are critical. Butter is sold quickly in this heat. With no refrigeration, shoppers must get it before it goes rancid. Water doesn't flow anymore in Havana. Instead, it's dragged. With no power, electric pumps are idle. So this is how some homes are resupplied. Jose Luis tells me it's the same in all the houses. For 6 months, there's been no water service here. And when I ask who he blames, the Americans or his own government, he says talking too much can get you arrested. Cuba's plight is evident at every meal. Coal, not gas, is used to cook by many, a daily indicator of how bad things have got. Petrol is so scarce it's forced many of Cuba's famous classic cars off the road. These relics of a bygone age before the revolution are now stationary reminders of today's shortages. Electric cars or rickshaws have become a more reliable form of transport. But for drivers who have no choice, getting more than their 20-litre-a-month ration of fuel involves cruising the city and signalling as they pass petrol stations to see if the staff will sell them some fuel on the black market. For Michael, the lack of available medicine has cost him dear. His untreated diabetes resulted in both legs being amputated 3 years ago.
Oh, my word. Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Yeah, this is what we heard, right? This is what we heard, that you've had, they've had to try to save babies in incubators manually when the power goes out and when they run out of fuel and the generators don't run anymore. And now, I mean, look, this is real as a heart attack, bro. What we're doing to these people is real as a fucking heart attack, man. Holy shit. That's so disturbing.
In both legs being amputated 3 years ago, and since then the situation has got worse. When I ask him who he blames, he's blunt. The Cuban government, citing the expensive medicines he can't afford. Those who work in Cuba's health system, like Jose, can get their hands on medical supplies, and that's part of the problem. He sells some of it on this black market website. Cuba's famous hospital network is crumbling. Despite Donald Trump's oil blockade, some aid shipments are being allowed through. This one from Mexico has 7,000 tons of rice, milk and beans to help feed a country on the brink.
And by the way, I should point out, the only reason that anything was allowed in is because Russia decided we're not going to listen to the U.S. If they tell us to stop, we're just going to keep going. And Trump blinked, and it allowed in the aid shipment. And then I guess now Mexico has sent some aid shipments as well. But this is devastating. All of this is avoidable, bro. All of this is avoidable. And let's be clear. There's no defense of the government. They had problems, before U.S. intervention, right? Although the U.S. has been intervening virtually the entire time, so it's kind of hard to make that case. But I'm no fan of any version of authoritarianism, any version of cracking down on free speech, any attempt to control the media or, find people guilty of thought crimes. Having said that, what would stop the immediate pain, devastation, and destruction is just to allow in all of the fuel. But no, what's happening here, and this is no secret, is that Marco Rubio got the green light from Trump, and the green light was basically starve the fucking country to death and hope that this leads to an overthrow of the government. And then when that didn't happen, and that didn't work, and now the whole country is fucking starving and dying, now they're looking at this moment to say, oh, they're weakened, let's actually invade and physically overthrow the government in a similar way to how they kidnapped Maduro.
The Cuban government brushes off criticism of its record, saying the current crisis is not its fault. What would you say to Cuban people that we have talked to who don't blame the American government for this situation, they blame your government?
I wouldn't have exactly any message for Cubans. I think that that question should be asked to the American government because they are the responsible actor.
New financial sanctions have forced international hotel brands to pull out. What greater tangible sign of Cuba's crumbling tourism industry than resorts being taken over by a government in crisis? The music might still be playing, but there's almost no one left to hear it. Each evening, Cuba enters its own dark age. Huge swathes of the capital are without power, despite residents' best efforts to find a remedy. The fortunate few have generators, but only as long as the fuel lasts. In a city which was renowned for its nightlife and joie de vivre, Havana has now been plunged into darkness and largely into silence. If you look at the blocks of flats around here, there are no lights on apart from the few people who've managed to charge up a battery during the day. In this city of silhouettes, most are forced to make their own entertainment. Yet in exclusive corners, there is a land of plenty for the few. The elite have the power in Cuba in every sense. Lazaro has a rap sheet for his rhymes, and he doesn't care. He wears his heart on his sleeve, his allegiance to Trump on his chest, and his contempt for the authorities on his skin.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! You gotta be kidding me, bro. You gotta be kidding me. Uncle Tom shit right here, dog. I mean, you got Donald Trump on your... Trump literally said, I'm going to take Cuba. I'm going to own it. Frankly, I can do whatever I want with it. The same guy who we just saw steal Venezuela's oil and put hundreds of millions of dollars in a private bank account only he controls in Qatar. You think this guy's looking out for your best interest? You think he's looking to free you? You think he's looking for liberty for the people of Cuba? No, he's a gangster. He's a thug. He's a criminal. He's an imperialist. Oh my God. This is like, You know, it is an acceptable position to say, I'm against the people starving us to death and stealing all of our fuel. I'm against that, and I would like reform of my own government as well. But no, you're just gonna blame. Oh my God, I don't even want to hear the rest of this. But let's do it.
His indelible slogan: "Down with the Cuban government." And he's been imprisoned multiple times for his anti-government rapping. He says he's asking for Donald Trump to finally enter the island because we need an intervention now so that...
Oh my God. Yeah, that's going to go real well, bro. In the same way that, you know, the Iranian diaspora in the U.S. was begging for Trump to go into Iran. Then he bombs a girls' school and kills 200 little elementary school girls. He bombs hospitals. He bombs bridges. He bombs a steel plant. He ruins everything. And they go, wait, not like this. Well, that's all he's gonna... Of course, that's all they're gonna do. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. These are fucking monsters that we're talking about here. They're looting and pillaging the United States of America. They're stripping everything down to the studs. They're robbing us blind, and you think they're good people looking to free you? Like, what? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What is going on, dog? What the fuck is this?
They enter the island because we need an intervention now so the Castro panelistas leave.
Please, sir, bomb my country.
He says if Trump invades, he'd be on the front lines with the Americans.
Oh, my word. Oh, no. Oh, no. Look, I want to be kind because, you know, I'm sure I would have some wacky-ass beliefs, too, if my life was this poor and this desperate. But, like, you have to realize that the massive increase in misery brought about by the embargo is squarely on Trump and Marco Rubio. To not acknowledge that is just like, it's just a war on reality.
Yo estaría en la primera línea de combate. His fury is fueled by what he shows me next. On the third floor of a nearby apartment block, his mother should be in hospital.
Oh.
But she's stuck here in acute pain with a heart condition.
Oh.
The drugs she needs are running out, and so is her patience.
Yeah, if only there wasn't a fucking embargo that would block the medicine from coming in. If only Donald Trump, your hero, wasn't doing that embargo.
She says, I wish I could die every time I get sick. Honestly, I ask God every day to bring me death, because this isn't easy.
Oh.
Margot is almost as old as the revolution she feels has failed her. She's weeping for better days, and so is Cuba. Dan Rivers, ITV News, Havana.
Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. Oh, it's so hard to watch. It's so hard to watch. And now, like I said, the U.S. is in position to actually bomb and actually attack. And the Cuban government is handing out guns and shit. Like, it could pop off. If it doesn't, the only thing that's probably preventing it is what's happening in the Middle East now with Iran and Israel fighting again, the hot war popping off again. If it doesn't happen, that's the only reason why. So buckle up, because this dude, this second term of his, I think he's breaking records in terms of number of countries he's attacking, and I don't see anything slowing him down. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to. Speaking of war criminals, Marco Rubio was at a committee hearing, and you had a bunch of protesters. I think these are Code Pink protesters who have a track record of being incredibly based in confronting these absolute demons. And man, they do not hold back. They unleash on Marco Rubio and to his face call him a war criminal. They chase him. They call him a cuck to Israel. And he absolutely crashes out, panics, and runs away with an awkward smile on his face. Watch this. Look.
War criminal. You should be ashamed of yourself, Senator. I know you can hear us with your big-ass ears. You are a war criminal, and you should be tried at The Hague. You should be disgusted with yourself. All of your collaborators are disgusting, and it's unacceptable what you're doing to the American people.
Hands off Cuba!
Be ashamed of yourself. Whether it's Cuba, whether it's Lebanon, whether it's you.
I like how everybody's sitting there awkwardly. Meanwhile, they're spitting, bro. Everything they're saying is true. No lies detected. And you got people sitting there awkwardly looking forward, like pretending like it's not happening. No, fucking join in, bro. These guys are criminals. These guys should be locked up.
Hands off Cuba!
Be ashamed of yourself. whether it's Cuba, whether it's Lebanon, whether it's... You are a criminal. You should be in jail. You will be tried at
You
the
are
Hague.
ashamed. Why are you harming the Cuban people? You are ashamed. A complete shame.
You will never be president.
Jail Rubio.
Now that strikes right at the heart of it. Bro said, you will never be president. Oh, there's nothing else you could have said that would have cut that deeply. That, or maybe if they showed one of the, like the photograph of him in the 1990s at the foam party in Miami, because he's allegedly a massive closet case. Showing that would have had a similar reaction. Here we go.
Criminal. You should be in jail. You will be tried at
You
the
are
Hague.
ashamed. Why are you harming the Cuban people? You are ashamed.
Now watch him run away.
A complete shame.
You will never be president.
Jail Rubio.
You're a war criminal. You will be seen as a war criminal for the rest of your days. This will go on you. You have blood on your hands. We want peace. We want Americans to have health care. All you care about is forever wars. You are not a real Cuban. You do not speak for the Cuban people. You speak for the imperialists. You are nothing but a war criminal.
You're a cook for Israel. You're a cook for Israel. Fuck you.
You're a cuck for Israel, they scream, and look at him running away. Look at him. He's acknowledging them,
You're
too.
a real Cuban. You do not speak for the Cuban people. You speak for the imperialists. You are nothing but a war criminal.
You're a cook for Israel. You're a cook for Israel. Fuck you. Cook for Israel.
Cuck for Israel and war criminal, they're saying.
Remember, you have a war criminal for the rest of your days. You will not go any hearing. You will not be able to go out in public.
Cook for Israel.
This is like comical how it's unfolding because they have to keep walking down the stairs and you can still see them. Like they look like they haven't even advanced at all since they started walking down. So you can scream at them for another 20 minutes. They hear every fucking word.
You are a war criminal.
You have the blood of hundreds of thousands of people on your hands.
Now, a guy like Rubio, he's so shameless and he sold his soul so long ago that there's a chance none of this actually lands and none of this gets through and he's just dead inside completely. But on some level, you have to think that some of this shit is landing a little bit, right? Like, he has to be aware that this is what we think of him. And when I say we, I mean a broad swath of this country believes this, of Marco Rubio, of the Secretary of War Crimes, Pete Kegsbreath, of Trump, of J.D. Vance. Like, you guys actually should be in prison. And I don't think that's controversial. I think that's like a straightforward interpretation of the law and applying it correctly.
You're nothing but a Batista puppet.
Little Marco, get your hands off of Palestine, Lebanon, and Iran and Cuba.
I know you can hear us with your big ass ears.
People like Marco Rubio literally should not be able to go anywhere, without this happening. For the rest of his fucking life, his miserable, putrid little life, closeted life, he shouldn't be able to walk 15 feet without somebody calling him a war criminal or a cuck for Israel or an imperialist. People should tell him that he should be locked up ASAP. That's what needs to happen. Because it feels like if we're not going to get justice the traditional way, there's got to be some sort of cosmic justice that we deliver. Where, like, sorry, you can't go to any restaurant, you can't eat. Remember when Trump went to go eat at some restaurant and Code Pink was there and they were calling him a war criminal to his face and he tried to, like, get these people arrested and have them considered terrorists and shit? Like, I'm sorry, if we can't get them the traditional way, there needs to be a social penalty for the demonic shit that they do, okay? And this is the very, very least we can fucking ask for is this right here. So shout out to all the people over at Code Pink. I love this. I love this video. More of it, man. More of it. They're doing the Lord's work here. And even though Marco might be dead inside and has that look on his face like he finds it all a joke, well, there's a tiny chance that those words cut deep. And either way, you're speaking truth to power, and that's how it should be. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to. So as you all know, Bill Maher is a little simp for Israel. He's also a little simp for Benjamin Netanyahu. And he is just a rabid Zionist and rabid Israel supporter to the point where he pretends like there wasn't a genocide in Gaza. He acts like Israel did virtually nothing wrong in Gaza. He acts like what they're doing in the West Bank is completely fine. He is really as loathsome as they come on this particular issue. Well, this mindset also bleeds over into his feelings on the Iran war. He's tried to split the difference and say, like, look, I support what Trump is doing because Iran is the core of every problem in the Middle East. But the other day, he also tried to come out and say, well, it didn't really work, so you should just get out of there. But he has on an Obama administration official here, Susan Rice. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Susan Rice, but in this instance, she's representing the Obama administration perspective on Iran, which happened to be completely and utterly correct and completely vindicated, right? So listen to this, because Susan Rice absolutely fact-mogs the shit out of Bill Maher and humiliates him in front of his own audience for his total ignorance on this topic that he has strong feelings on, but clearly doesn't know the first fucking thing about it. Because he's trying to argue that, like, you know, the Iran deal was a failure and that Iran was about to have nukes and that Netanyahu was right and Trump is right to do the war. And he just fucking hits a brick wall of truth and fails miserably. Listen to this.
Let me explain what we did and why I think it was the right thing and why I think, unfortunately, we're really on the wrong course right now. First of all, Iran, as you said, absolutely correctly, poses threats on multiple dimensions. Its missile program, its support for proxies in the region, its human rights violations. But the way it poses...
By the way, Rich, talking about Iran's human rights violations as we are shoving innocent immigrants into concentration camps and they're getting tortured and raped. And Israel is doing a genocide and fucking shooting children in the face and having right to grape protests. And we're going to talk about Iran's human rights violations. So this first part, the Iran fear-mongering, I don't like, but hold, because it gets much better.
A direct threat to Israel, to our allies in the region, to Europe, and potentially to the larger international community is if it were able to acquire a nuclear weapon, or weapons plural. And so back in 2013, we began to try an effort without using force, but using economic pressure and sanctions that brought Iran to the negotiating table. And after 2 years of negotiations, resulted in a nuclear deal that prevented Iran from building a nuclear weapon.
Based on inspections?
Based on, not just inspections, based on taking 98% of their fissile material out of the country, shutting down their plutonium reactor, making it impossible for them to put in place the most highly sophisticated centrifuges.
And you know they weren't cheating?
We know it for two reasons.
How?
Two ways. One, the intelligence community of the United States and even Israel validated that up until 2018 when the prior president pulled out.
Not Israel.
Yes. And secondly, that they were not cheating on the Iran nuclear deal.
That's not what...
And secondly, the IAEA had, the International Atomic Energy Agency, had 24/7 intrusive inspections in all of Iran's nuclear facilities. So when the United States withdrew from the nuclear deal, the deal was being implemented fully. But even if you don't buy that...
Why wasn't if Netanyahu thought they weren't cheating, why was he so adamant to get out of the deal?
Because he's a fucking liar, Bill. He's a liar, you idiot, you dipshit, you moron. You still haven't figured out that Israel is interested only in the greater Israel project. They want to expand their borders. They want all of the West Bank. They want all of Gaza. They want probably all of Syria. They want parts of Egypt. They want Jordan. They want to expand their borders. The reason why Iran needs to be destroyed in order for them to do that is they're the only regional actor with the power to push back against them. Iran funds Hezbollah, Iran funds Hamas, it funds resistance to Israel, it is opposed to Israel. They are blocking Israel from creating their greater Israel plan, from implementing their greater Israel plan, okay? That's what's going on here. So what does Netanyahu do? He can't just say that. He can't just say, we're a settler colonial project and we're interested in doing expansionism and stealing more and more sovereign territory from innocent people in innocent countries. They can't say that. So what you do is you lie and you figure, oh, they're lying. They actually have a nuclear weapon or they're very close to a nuclear weapon. He's been saying that since fucking like 1980 something, bro. He's been on TV. He's been saying it for sure, there's, compilations going back to at least the 1990s. Oh, they're a month away from a nuke. They're 2 months away from a nuke. They're a couple of weeks away from a nuke. He's been saying this forever. He's been lying every single step of the way. So you can't say we want to steal the land. So you say they have a nuke, and the implication is they're about to use it. He's implied or outright said that they're going to nuke Israel or they're going to nuke the U.S. Lie, to try to make the U.S. go in there and do his dirty work and overthrow the Iranian government and make it so that Iran is a failed state. So you have warring factions in the streets and warlords running the country, and you turn it into fucking Libya where there's open slave markets. This way they can dominate the region. That's the idea. And here he is going, but Netanyahu, why would Netanyahu say this? Because he's fucking lying, you dumb fuck, you dumb old fuck.
Even if you don't buy that.
Why wasn't if Netanyahu thought they weren't cheating, why was he so adamant to get out of the deal?
Because this is the right question. It gets back to your original point. It wasn't just about nuclear in the minds of the Israelis.
Oh, so now you even have the Obama administration officials who were right on this issue and solved this issue. Even they're now coming out and saying, this had nothing to do with nuclear stuff, did it? Because we solved that. If you cared about Iran becoming nuclear, then this deal quite literally, just factually, empirically, objectively solved it. Where we had the IAEA go in there all the time, make sure they weren't enriching past a certain point. They could only enrich for their power grid and for scientific research. And it was locked down. It was done. It was over. It was a wrap. It was taken off the table as an issue. They followed the deal over a dozen times, verified by the IAEA. Every time they went in there, they said they're following the deal. And what happened? Trump got in there in 2018, and he ripped up the deal that they were following and they were abiding by. He ripped up the deal and he spit in their eye. Well, if you're them, you'd be crazy not to build nukes then, right? Because what the U.S. and Israel are showing is you're hostile. You're not actually interested in peace. You say we're not interested in peace. You're not actually interested in peace because we're doing what you want vis-a-vis nuclear, and it's not enough for you, right? And so when even the Obama officials are admitting, like, yeah, the aggressor here is Netanyahu. He's the aggressor. Israel is the aggressor. This has nothing to do with nuclear.
In the minds of the Israelis.
So he was lying when he said...
No, not lying.
Well, that's what he said to me.
Yes, he was.
He said, but we don't agree. We don't believe that they're not cheating.
Because
they're going to get a weapon and we got to get it.
And when we had a mechanism in place to prevent them from getting it, he urged President Trump to get out of the deal. Yep. They got out of the deal. And what happened? Iran built up its arsenal. Now they have 440 kilograms of highly enriched uranium.
Right. As they should.
Up enough for 10 bombs. They have a sophisticated missile program. They now control the Strait of Hormuz.
So in other words, y'all fucked up by pulling out of that fucking deal.
And they are tanking the global economy as a consequence. And what have we done? We went to war, and we have not either dealt with the nuclear program or verifiably dealt with the missile program or the proxy problem.
So understand, the other thing that pisses me off is this implication from Maher. Oh, well, if they have a nuke, they're obviously going to offensively use it against us or Israel or both. That's the implication. And that's the thing that I fucking can't stand. And let me be clear, that 100% stems from his Islamophobia and his bigotry. 100%. Because any reasonable person who's objectively looking at the situation will come to the inevitable conclusion that the only reason Iran wants a nuke is to establish deterrence against Western aggression. Let me repeat that. The only reason Iran would want a nuke is to establish deterrence against Western aggression. They would be insane to not have a nuke. Knowing now that Israel and the U.S. will repeatedly, illegally, and offensively attack them and bomb their schools and hospitals and bridges and steel factories and petrochemical plants and everything under the sun. So, if anything, they've been vindicated every step of the way. But here's somebody who knows about the politics of the nuclear agreement and explains it to Bill Maher like he's a baby. And Bill Maher still can't fucking get it through his fat, disgusting head. It is insane, bro. And let me be clear about something else, too. If you fancy yourself a Democrat and you were opposed to the Obama deal, then you're really not a Democrat. This is one of those, like, defining issues. Because now we have an illegal war being waged against Iran, a country that didn't attack us or Israel. They were attacked first. And I'm sorry, but this is not a Democratic position. If you're taking this position, it is a neocon, warmonger, right-wing, MAGA position. And so anybody who's in the Democratic Party, and there's a lot of Israel First Democrats in the Democratic Party, sorry, you're not on the team if you don't agree with Susan Rice here. Bill Maher, you're not on the team. You're a fucking Netanyahu cuck boy. You're an Israel cuck boy. And that was the smackdown being laid on Bill Maher on this issue that he knows absolutely nothing about, man. As the Tennessee Holler says, it's genuinely wild to see how ignorant Bill Maher still is on this topic. He has fully swallowed the Trump-Netanyahu line on Iran and seems genuinely shocked to hear the truth. Bibi was against the Iran deal because it was working. He and his allies wanted war, not peace. That's exactly correct.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
So I have to say, bro, one of the weirdest groups in this country is Turning Point USA. And, Turning Point USA, this is like the breeding ground, the training ground for right-wing influencers, obviously launched by Charlie Kirk. But remember, there was a lot of funding from right-wing billionaires for this thing, okay? It's astroturfed. Secular Talk was created by me in my fucking mom's basement back in the day. That's what this is. And for him, it's no, it was a big money thing from the very beginning. That's what Turning Point USA is. So obviously, Charlie Kirk is no longer with us. Erika Kirk immediately jumped up to take his spot. They had this Turning Point USA Women's Summit thing where they basically recruit all these young women who have promised to be right-wing commentators, and they groom them into being hateful, little, disgusting MAGA bigots and idiots. So she was given a speech at this Turning Point USA Women's Summit thing. And by the way, Ashley St. Clair spoke to us about this on Crystal Kylan, friends. Check out that interview. She talks about this whole thing and what it's like going through this process, being initiated into MAGA as a commentator, right? So here's Erika Kirk talking at this event, and she gets a heckler who tells the truth directly to Erika Kirk's face, and watch her bizarre reaction. Here we go.
And it's important to remember that happiness comes and goes. It is so fleeting. But the joy of the Lord...
Her vibe is so weird, bro. Sorry to interrupt so quickly. The way she talks, the way she acts, the way she looks around, everything seems so fucking planned out, choreographed. None of this seems authentic or sincere.
And it's important to remember that happiness comes and goes. It is so fleeting. But the joy of the Lord withstands all.
Look at her face, bro. Oh, look at her face. Oh, no. Erika Kirk protects pedophiles. Shout out to whoever the fuck that is, bro. Shout out to whoever the fuck infiltrated this summit and said that shit.
Erika Kirk protects pedophiles! Erika Kirk protects pedophiles!
Oh, did you see that? She put on the crazy person eyes there for a second. Did you see that? Look at it. Look at it. Look. She's doing the crazy eyes. She's doing the crazy eyes that everybody got on her about. Holy shit. That's the eyes when she was talking about Candace Owens, and she says, "Stop it. Just stop it." That's what those eyes are.
Erika Kirk protects pedophiles! Erika Kirk protects pedophiles!
By the way, let's be clear. That is just a factual statement right there. Because Erika Kirk at this late date is still riding for Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump, his name is in the Epstein files a million times. Literally the most of anybody, okay? They haven't arrested a single Epstein pervert criminal. Not a single one. They've opened investigations into fucking Don Lemon and Letitia James and James Comey before a single Epstein fredophile grapist, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So if you're still riding for Donald J. Trump in the year 2026, you absolutely are protecting pedophiles. No doubt about it.
It's important to remember that happiness comes and goes, and I pray that you find it.
This organization is like a shadow of its former self, bro. This organization is so cooked. They are so barbecue chicken. Without Charlie and the strong personality driving it, and now you have Charlie's wife just steps in there and tries to take over. Nobody's gonna be fucking attracted to this. No kids in high schools or colleges are gonna be like, oh yeah, totally, I'm with TPUSA.
That's an important moment. Love you guys. That's an important moment because that just showed duty to faithfulness gives life meaning. And we must pray for our enemies and those that do not feel like their life has meaning. And that's a perfect example of that.
I'm sorry, man. I don't know what it is about me. Maybe it's the New Yorker in me, but there's nothing I hate more than passive aggression. Don't give me that shit. I prefer my aggression aggressively. Give me aggressive aggression. Don't give me no passive aggressive bullshit. Oh, I'm going to pray for you. Pray for what? For what? What are you doing? Who's this for? No, this person is correctly saying you protect pedophiles because you fucking protect pedophiles because you're part of MAGA in 2026, okay? That's what they're doing. They're correct. They're correct to point that out. And no amount of weird, awkward eye stares and like passive-aggressive fucking Bible verse quotes are going to change that.
And we must pray for our enemies and those that do not feel like their life has meaning. And that's a perfect example of that. A perfect example. You pray for your enemies. You pray for those that persecute you. That's not the enemy. We know who the real enemy is. God bless you. Thank you.
Oh, my word. Oh, no. 15.1 million views, bro. 15.1 million. LOL, she tried to whip up her patented crazy eyes glare. I told you. Oh, my God. I was so right. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. She wonders why people don't like her. She doesn't understand that she always comes across as like bizarre and inauthentic. That she just seems like happy to be the center of attention, even though the situation surrounding it is abysmal, right? And like, sorry, Erika, nobody trusts you. Why were you running your hands through J.D. Vance's hair like 7 minutes after Charlie Kirk was killed? Why did he have his hands on your hips? Why were you wearing these leather pants when it's supposed to be like a solemn event? Why did you say that J.D. reminds you of Charlie? That's so bizarre. Especially since J.D. Vance, you know, his wife, Usha, all the white nationalists hate that he's got, a brown wife. And so is Erika Kirk sort of positioning like, oh, I found my next victim. I'm going to be all up on that J.D. fucking smoky-eyed sociopath, smoky-eyed sociopaths fucking shit now. I don't know, man. I don't know. But this is why nobody trusts you. This is why nobody trusts you. Nobody trusts you because you posted creepy-ass videos on social media holding Charlie Kirk's hand after he was gone and in the casket, trying to get clout off of his demise. You got the fucking pyrotechnics at the funeral, and you, like it was some sort of WWE event. You immediately said you wanted to take over Charlie's position before his fucking body was cold. There's videos of you crying where there's 100% no tears at all. Nobody can detect any tears. You're hopping in front of every camera that's ever been created on God's green earth. Like, you cannot put yourself front and center and then get mad when people react. And this is what that looks like, bro. You wanted the spotlight. Okay, you got the motherfucking spotlight, and people are going to call you out for what the fuck is going on. And what's going on is you are relishing at the fact that your husband passed away and now you're running the organization, but you're running it into the ground. And when they say you protect pedophiles, that's just factual. So, not going too well, man. Not going too well over there. Turning Point, also at the Daily Wire. These versions of conservatism, this ideology is dying. It's a dying breed of conservatism. And I think deep down they know that, and they don't know what the fuck to do about it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to. I love how every single day we get a new thing to lose sleep over, and this one is probably one of the worst, if I'm being honest with you. So, mysterious cold blob in the Atlantic suggests the AMOC, so that's like the Atlantic current, okay, ocean current, is weakening. A patch of ocean southeast of Greenland is the only place on Earth that is cooling, and it could be a sign that the warm water conveyor belt in the Atlantic is slowing down. Okay. Well, that's weird. So this is what it looks like, y'all. This is what it looks like. The temperature of the water, both in this one area, the temperature is actually colder, and it shouldn't be like that if the current is working properly, but now it looks like the current is not working properly like it used to, and that's an issue. So, what does this mean practically? Well, what it means is, if you've ever been in the UK, right, you'll know that the weather there is pretty mild, all things considered. They're pretty far north, all things considered, when you look at the globe, right? Like, they're pretty far north, but the temperature there isn't as cold as it should be given how far north they are. The reason for that is the warm water gets brought from the equator all the way up to the UK. that water comes up like it's on a conveyor belt. And so that means that like in the winter, it could be 40 degrees, 45 degrees. And, you know, in the summer, maybe it's 70 degrees or whatever. But it sort of stays in that range, right? Like, again, given how far north it is, you would expect it to be very cold winters, for example. But it's not, okay? All because of what that water's doing. Well, if this current collapses, basically what they say is it would be, the winters would become absolutely hellish, just totally freezing in the UK. And not only that, it's weird. I've seen contradictory things. Some people say the summers would be scorching hot. Some people say it would almost like plunge the UK into like a new ice age. But suffice to say, like, it would not be like it is now, which means drought, famine, food shortages, water shortages, all sorts of problems, you know, not being able to grow the right amount of food. Other places would fucking boil, right? And other places would go freezing. This is why they stopped calling it global warming and changed it to climate change, because climate change is more accurate. You get just the climate gets all fucked up. And this is one example of exactly that. And this, you know, the current collapsing is tied to that. Okay? So this is absolutely horrifying. Shift in the Gulf Stream could signal ocean current collapse. Models show that as the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation gets weaker, the Gulf Stream will drift northwards. There are signs that this is already happening, and a more abrupt shift could warn of more severe climate impacts. Abrupt Gulf Stream path changes are a precursor to a collapse of the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation. And so some of that is what's going on here. This is what it used to look like versus what it looks like now. So there's instability there that's concerning to experts. Okay, now let's go. PBS did a little thing where they talk about this. Let's watch.
Oh. Hey, so good to meet you. I'm Maya. I'm Lisa Beale. Nice to meet you. This is an awesome ship. This is our research vessel, Walton Smith. The really cool thing about the Walton Smith, she's kind of small, but she has a super low draft. So we can take her in really snug places like in the Florida Bay. For our cruise, we're going to go out to the center of the Florida Straits, though. So in the teeth of the Gulf Stream.
The Gulf Stream is a powerful surface current and a vital component of the largest heat transfer on Earth, the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, or AMOC. The AMOC acts as a global conveyor belt, moving warm surface water north and cold deep water south, helping to regulate our global climate. Recently, the AMOC has gotten a lot of attention because climate models suggest that the rapid melting of the Greenland ice sheet should lead to this circulation's disruption or even collapse.
So not only would you have those hellish freezing winters at the very least in the UK if this thing collapses in like Europe, this adds to like the Middle East becoming uninhabitable, that like places by the equator become more fucking scorching hot, right? And so we already saw, I read one article back in the day that said, I think by 2100, the Middle East will be uninhabitable. Well, what do you do when like there's very few places on Earth that really are conducive to human flourishing, but we have like 7 or 8 billion people around the world? Like, what happens? What happens is mass famine, die-off, you know, droughts, not enough food, migration crises. Like, it could be the collapse of human civilization as we know it. And we could potentially, it's possible we already made our own bed and now we're going to have to sleep in it.
A scenario with almost unimaginable consequences.
If the AMOC tips, well, where I live, the climate suddenly gets incredibly greater seasonality, cold, harsh winters and even hotter summers. But I'd be most concerned in the tropics because we would potentially lose the monsoon in West Africa, which would be a humanitarian catastrophe, and also disrupt the monsoon in India severely, which is the livelihoods of over 1 billion people. When it also disrupts the rainfall over the Amazon, so threatens this crucial harbour of biodiversity and indigenous peoples. And also, when the AMOC tips, it raises the sea level around large parts of the North Atlantic. And then what's happening is it's leaving heat behind in the Southern Ocean, so it's risking bringing forward the tipping points for the Antarctic ice sheets.
Not only do climate models suggest that global warming should disrupt the AMOC, but scientists also believe that during past periods of significant warming, such as the transition out of the last ice age, the AMOC may have significantly weakened or even shut down entirely. The problem is that determining if this process has already started again has proven to be very tricky because we only have about 20 years of direct observational data on the AMOC. But Lisa and her colleague Chris may have found a solution.
In the future, under global warming, the large-scale Atlantic meridional overturning circulation will reduce with climate change. That, I think, we're all agreed on. What there's more ambiguity on is whether the overturning circulation has already weakened.
And this is where the Gulf Stream comes in. Since the Gulf Stream is a key surface current within the AMOC, any signs of it slowing down could indicate that the AMOC itself is losing strength. And in a groundbreaking study, Chris and Lisa found a way to extend the observational record of the Gulf Stream by decades using underwater telecommunication cables.
We combined a number of different observational data sets to look at how the strength of the Gulf Stream has changed over the last 40 or 50 years. And, we believe statistically, we found a robust weakening.
That finding allows researchers to compare what the models say about the AMOC with the observations of the Gulf Stream.
Over the same 4-decade period, where the climate models unambiguously say we should have seen weakening, we do see a comparable weakening in the observations of the Gulf Stream.
We put those together and say it's likely that weakening in the Gulf Stream is related to a weakening in the AMOC. And so maybe we're actually observing for the first time a robust weakening in the overturning.
Lisa and her team are also trying to learn about a local impact of this weakening: sea level rise.
What we're putting out in the next couple of days is the 3 moorings here. They're going to measure the carbon and the nutrients and the pH.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
And these guys in between are going to give us the temperature, salinity, fluxes, the heat content, and the sea level.
This data, this research is really going to help you figure out how the Gulf Stream and the changes in the Gulf Stream might affect Florida.
Yeah, we're hoping to answer some of those questions as well. So some of these moorings that we put in, we're going to be able to measure how much water there is, above those instruments.
By the way, I should point out, this sort of science is the exact shit that Doge cut the shit out of. The scientific research, the medical research, all these experts who are doing this important stuff, they're the ones who first got the boot, where they're like, oh, fuck you, you're useless, we don't need you.
And that's going to give us the sea surface height, the sea level.
And the sea, it turns out, is far from level. It's full of hills, bumps, and craters. And the most significant reason is ocean currents.
There is an intimate connection between the flow of the Gulf Stream and the height of sea level all along the U.S. southeastern coast. It's continually being deflected to the side by the effect of Earth's rotation. It turns out that how much that deflection force affects ocean water depends on 2 things. One is Earth's rotation, and the other is how fast the ocean currents are moving. The faster the ocean water moves, the more of a deflection to the side you get.
And while the Gulf Stream is mostly powered by the wind, the larger flow of the AMOC also plays a crucial role. If it were to collapse, the Gulf Stream could slow enough to add an additional 3 feet of sea level rise in places like Miami.
We do not want to be playing Russian roulette with the Atlantic overturning circulation, and it's like a crazy experiment we seem to be doing, but its consequences are so dangerous that we need to do everything in our power to try and limit the risk of this tipping point.
We don't know the level of warming that will push this system past the point of no return. But we do know that as we move further and further away from our historically stable climate, we risk triggering more tipping points like the collapse of the AMOC.
Jesus Christ, man. Added to the list of absolute nightmare scenarios, man. And I said to Crystal the other day as we were learning about this, I was like, there's a 0% chance there's anybody in our government with any significant amount of power who's actually looking into this and coming up with solutions. Never mind actually trying to enact said solutions. It's just, we are so far gone mentally, psychologically as a country that they're not trying to fix this shit. And by the way, other governments too, ones that are more responsible and intelligent than us, even they really don't know what the fuck. I mean, you saw the videos the other day of meteors exploding in certain places and breaking windows and shit. And it's nobody knows what the fuck's going on. There could be a massive meteor the size of the fucking World Trade Centers that crash on our heads within the next 5 minutes. And people be like, oops, we're not prepared for this world that we live in. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the proper mental faculties to be able to navigate this world and have good outcomes and improve life for everybody. We're led by a bunch of fucking dead-eyed sociopaths who are looting the treasury right in front of our eyes and stripping this country for parts. That's where we're at. So in the same way that they're ignoring climate change and doing nothing to fix it, this will be on that list as well, and you and I will be fucking losing sleep about how the future generations, and maybe even ours, are absolute barbecue chicken. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to. So as you all know, the Daily Wire is currently collapsing in on itself. They've lost 80% of their views from their peak, and Ben Shapiro is only making this worse on a daily basis, of course. His commentary appeals to nobody. What's his commentary? Dick sucking the president who has a 32% approval rating? Well, good luck with that. Let me know how that goes. It's that and telling everybody to shut up and stop criticizing Israel and Netanyahu. I mean, it's just there's no juice, there's no sauce. This is going nowhere. This is he's trying to speed run his descent into complete and utter irrelevance. So we had on Batya Ungar-Sargon, who is right up there with Dave Rubin in the sense that she's like one of the dumbest, if not the dumbest political commentators in the game. And Ben here is going to double down on a claim he made the other day, namely that Cenk Uygur and Hassan Piker being banned from the UK is good because they functionally support the murder of millions of Jews. That's right. He flagrantly defamed them and claimed that they support the murder of millions of Jews. I mean, so low, so gross. But like I said, he doesn't back down even a little bit, and he comes out and reiterates. Watch this. Here we go.
When people say anti-Zionist, the point that I've made is that people have misdefined Zionism and anti-Zionism. Zionism used to be the proposition in 1920 that the Jews should have a state, and the state didn't exist yet. And then the Jews had a state. So now the Jews have had a state for 80 years. And so now when you say the Jews should not have a state, that is an active call for the destruction of a currently existing state as opposed to any other state on planet Earth, which would entail the murder of literally millions of Jews. And so making the case that modern anti-Zionism has no truck with anti-Semitism or is completely unrelated, or that when you make the case that Israel controls American foreign policy, what you're not really saying is that Jews control American, it's just nonsense.
Oh my word. So he's saying, by definition, if you're anti-Zionist, you're in favor of the murder of millions of Jews. That's what he's saying. You know, Ben, there's a pretty clear, direct Occam's razor answer to what anti-Zionists believe. You ready? They believe in equal rights for all. That's what they believe in. So, in other words, there functionally already is one state in the region. There's not two states. There's not a Palestinian state and an Israeli state. There's one state, and it's controlled by Israel. That's including in Gaza, including in the West Bank. Israel controls all of it. What anti-Zionists believe is this should be an equal state for everybody that lives in the region. So everybody has the same rights. Everybody gets one person, one vote, and that's all it is. And then, of course, it should be a secular democracy as opposed to a religious ethno-state theocracy, which is what a Jewish state entails. It's an ethno-state. It's a theocratic ethno-state. So, no, nobody's asking for or trying to murder millions of Jews. What anti-Zionists are saying is, hey, let's have a secular democracy where everybody has equal rights. It's like what Zoran said in the debate, where he was like, so you don't think that Israel has a right to exist? He goes, yeah, Israel has a right to exist as a state with equal rights. I love the fact that everybody acknowledges, every reasonable person says, oh yeah, I believe in democracy, right? I believe in secular democracy. But somehow you're also supposed to believe in like a theocratic ethno-state and make only one specific exception, and it's only for the Jewish ethno-state? Like, no, that makes no sense. I'm against ethno-states across the board. I'm in favor of secular democracy across the board. Do I think every like official Muslim country should be a secular democracy? Yes, I do. Do I think the theocratic apartheid ethno-state of Israel should not be a Jewish state and should be a secular democracy? Yes, I do. If it's going to be majority Jews there, fine. There's no problem with that. But everybody deserves equal rights. That's the claim of anti-Zionists. But he has to smear us and lie about us and say we all support the murder of millions of Jews. It is so, for somebody who cries and whines and bitches and moans about like, you guys are strawmanning us. When you say that we have bad positions, you're strawmanning us, and that's not fair. If you want to have intellectual, honest discourse, you need to steelman your opponent. And meanwhile, for every anti-Zionist, he goes, you support the murder of millions of Jews. No, that is a straw man. The steelman is equal rights for all is the position. So that is just so gross that like he's reduced all of his opponents to a fucking caricature. Meanwhile, he's the one that actually has preposterous views. You know, he's the one who still defends Netanyahu. He's the one who says it's not a genocide in Gaza. He's the one who steadfastly ignores on a daily basis. Did Ben Shapiro cover about how the IDF is currently marauding their way through Lebanon? They stole all of South Lebanon up until the Litani River and told 1 million people to fucking evacuate, and then they bombed them in the safe zone when they were on the beach? Has he talked about how Israel is routinely bombing Beirut and stealing more and more territory? Has he talked about that? Has he talked about the fucking pogroms in the West Bank? Has he talked about that? Has he talked about the fact that 90% of the buildings in Gaza were totally destroyed? Were they all Hamas buildings, you fucking lying scumbag? No, the fact is, you know the Israeli government is genocidal, and you don't care because you support it. That's the fact. As long as it's Zionist Jews who are doing the murdering, you're okay with that. You support that. Because you're the one that's actually fucking tribal. That's what it is. You're the one who's not reasonable and is illogical and doesn't give a fuck about humanitarianism and equal rights for people. As you accuse Cenk and Hassan of being in favor of the murder of millions of Jews, you actually support the murder of, at the very least, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, probably more than that. Jesus Christ. But I'm still not done, because then he goes off in this segment here where he says, bro, the Iran war, that's like not even unpopular, bro. Watch this.
I'll say that to me, the points of vulnerability for the Republicans in 2026 have very little to do with foreign policy and have a lot more to do with some of the candidates that are getting picked. So I think that if the Republicans were to lose the Senate, they're almost certainly going to lose North Carolina. One of the reasons they're going to lose North Carolina is because the president decided to go to war with Tom Tillis. The Republicans, could win in Michigan, where they normally would lose because the Democrats have picked a psycho over there.
He's trying to say Abdul El Sayed is a psycho. We'll see, son. We'll see.
Like a more robust candidate in Maine than she would have, probably.
So this has nothing to do with it. I mean, the Republicans doing poorly. It has nothing to do with foreign policy, bro. Oh, really? It doesn't? Then why is it that the Iran war polls at 30%? You lying bitch. You're lying. You know you're lying. By the way, also, what do you think has led to the increase in gas prices, the increase in grocery prices, the economy now struggling here massively? What has led to that? It is directly because of the Strait of Hormuz being shut, which is a direct response to the illegal war of aggression waged against Iran by the axis of Epstein, the U.S. and Israel. Okay? To say, oh, that's not, people support, no, people do not support this war. It's only you and fucking Mark Levin and a bunch of psychotic freaks who support the war. Everybody else is against it, and everybody else is also against the secondary effects of the disgusting war of aggression against Iran. But here, this is such cope. It's such motivated reasoning. I like the war, so everybody actually secretly, low-key, kind of likes the war themselves. That's what. It's got nothing to do with the really unpopular war that we're waging, which is leading to an increase in the gas prices and inflation rising. It's got nothing to do with that. The reason, what he's trying to say is, oh, if we just had more reasonable Republican candidates, we'd do better. I got bad news for you. There is no such thing as a reasonable Republican candidate. Like, the ones you guys call moderates, you look at their record and it's like, oh, they vote 95% of the time with Trump. Moderate my ass cheeks. Okay? There are no reasonable Republicans anymore. They're gone. It's over. It's a wrap. They're done. Everybody's part of the fucking Trump cult. You are part of the Trump cult. Spare me this nonsense. If they were moderate and they supported bombing more Iranian girls' schools, we would be winning. No, your ideology is wrong and dumb and stupid and everybody fucking hates it, and you need to acknowledge that. You need to realize that. But he doesn't. It's cope. This is a fucking cope stream. That's what's going on here with Ben Shapiro. So shame on him. He's slowly but surely losing his mind right in front of our eyes. That's what we're witnessing. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to. All right, guys, let's take a look at this here. This is kind of crazy. You have a 17-year-old valedictorian, Lean Hijaz, who used her graduation speech to speak for the voiceless. So she ends up calling out Palestine, Sudan, Congo, Afghanistan, the crimes of ICE. And the school administrator literally cuts her mic and tells her, if you don't stop, you're not graduating. And then they withheld her diploma for 4 days. So this is what happens when you try to tell the truth. You try to speak truth to power. You try to be a good person. You try to do the right thing. You try to bring attention to people who are less fortunate, who are going through horrible things. You try to call out injustice. This is what the world tries to do to you. If you're a left-winger and you have a conscience and you want to fix things. Look at this. Take a look at this.
We're not given a voice to stay silent and
This 17-year-old teenager from Clayton, North Carolina, says her welcome speech to graduates was cut off by a school administrator after she made these remarks.
It's just too perfect that it's like a bleach blonde woman in North Carolina who's like, you're not allowed to do that, honey. You're not allowed to tell the truth. You're not allowed to be against injustice and war and concentration camps. You got to go up there and just smile and Tell everybody everything's already great.
From Clayton, North Carolina, says her welcome speech to graduates was cut off by a school administrator after she made these remarks.
I have one last thing to say. Every single person here has a voice, and we are privileged to have the freedom to use it when so many people around the world are struggling and they're suffering to be heard. Whether it's the millions suffering in Palestine, Sudan, Congo, Afghanistan, and so many other countries around the world, these are the families being torn apart by ICE. These are not distant issues. They are happening right now as I speak.
God bless this woman, man. God bless you for going out there, fucking telling the truth. The world needs a lot more of this, man. The world needs a lot more of this. People with a conscience to fucking impart a conscience on other people who are acting like, you know, we're not one humanity. These are innocent people who are getting killed. These are innocent people who are being shoved in ICE concentration camps, right? Like, how can you have no humanity for that? How can you have no empathy? How can you feel nothing over that and act like it's okay because it's not you? It could just as easily be you. What the fuck?
Palestine, Sudan, Congo, Afghanistan, and so many other countries around the world, these are the families being torn apart by ICE. These are not distant issues. They are happening right now as I speak.
She came up to me and she's like, if you don't stop speaking right now, you're not graduating.
That's what Leen Hijaz says the administrator said to her in this moment when she cut off Hijaz's speech. And because of those remarks, unlike the rest of her fellow graduates who picked up their diplomas after the ceremony, Hijaz says she was told,
"You're getting your diploma withheld."
A Johnston County Public Schools spokesperson tells CNN that Hijaz was, quote, awarded her diploma and that her speech was cut off because, quote, school administrators intervened in order to maintain the integrity and focus of the program in real time.
Oh, no. We're not doing this. No. You're not going to take one of the only people there with fucking integrity and smear her integrity and say, oh, we were trying to protect the integrity by having you not say real shit, by having you not point out actual problems in the world that need to be fucking addressed. There's so much symbolism, too, in, like, the older generation trying to censor the younger generation from telling the truth, trying to muzzle them, trying to shut them the fuck up from trying to, like, fix the problems that actually exist. God, that's so fucking symbolic. It's too perfect. There's also symbolism in terms of, like, party, right? Like, I'm sure she's a lefty and the person shutting her up is a right-winger, right? I would bet almost everything on that fact.
Hijaz was, quote, awarded her diploma and that her speech was cut off because, quote, school administrators intervened in order to maintain the integrity and focus of the program in real time. This action was not about limiting a student's voice.
But that's literally what you did. Okay, no, we're not doing this anymore. We're not doing the, like, this is not about the thing that it objectively was about. Yes, bitch, it was. It was exactly that. It was about limiting a student's voice.
But about ensuring that a school-sponsored event remained consistent with its intended purpose. JCPS respects students' rights to express their views.
No, they don't. You did the exact opposite.
And encourages thoughtful dialogue in appropriate settings.
That was an appropriate setting. You're allowed, if you're the fucking valedictorian and you have to give a speech, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say if it's reasonable, and that's fucking reasonable. It's reasonable to say, hey, spare a thought for innocent people being shoved into ICE concentration camps. Spare a thought for people who are being mass murdered in Gaza. Spare a thought for the Congo or Sudan.
The district also said the content of graduation speeches is approved by staff ahead of the event. Hijaz says she did not submit her unscripted remarks for approval,
and
that she received her diploma 4 days after graduation. Hijaz says her family and friends have supported her throughout because
my sole purpose of saying everything was to advocate for people.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need a revolution in the way that we think and the way that we act. Because the fact of the matter is, for so long, people look at you like you're crazy if you're the one that's just telling the truth, right? So what she's doing here is the radical act of, I'm just going to tell the truth. And they try to shut her the fuck up immediately. And you see this everywhere, right? Like, I feel like a crazy person when I'm talking about the big bullshit bill that they passed, and I'm out there all the time screaming, they're kicking 18 million people off Medicaid. There's 742 hospitals that are going to close because of what they're doing to Medicaid, because of they're doing those cuts. At the same time, they're cutting taxes for the wealthy. So it's a massive, we're already in a Gilded Age, and they're redistributing the wealth even more to the top 1% or 0.01%, right? You point that out, you scream it, and like you feel crazy because the media's not talking about this much. The Democrats aren't talking about this much. They passed the bill, then the Republicans are out there celebrating it like it's some positive thing. People start to think the bill's some sort of positive thing because it passed, and like you're losing your fucking mind. We need everybody to get out there in unison and start telling the truth. Start being brutally honest. And to be brutally honest, it's to say exactly what she said. Every valedictorian at every fucking graduation should be saying some shit like this, right? Because you can inspire somebody who then inspires somebody who then inspires somebody who actually ends up making a massive difference on one of these fronts that we're fighting this war on, right? The war for truth and honesty and compassion and actually fixing problems. And so, I mean, shout out to her, man. It's so soul sucking when you see like this is what the system does to you if you actually give a shit and you want to fix things. Everybody just gets accustomed to this like status quo bias of like, yeah, it is how it is and that's okay. And it's like, no, what if it's not actually okay? What if climate change is fucking killing us and the ocean current collapsing is fucking killing us and these illegal wars Trump is waging are fucking killing us and the Strait of Hormuz being closed is going to lead to a fucking Great Depression and we're facing famine and all sorts of problems that you idiots haven't fucking addressed in any serious way because you're all morons and you're all fucking backwards. What about that? What if that's the truth? What if that's the reality? How about you're the ones who should shut the fuck up and hand the keys over to the younger generation that actually gives a shit and wants to fix stuff? Okay? So, much love to her. Keep speaking truth to power. Even when the system tries to shut you up, you got to break through. All right, y'all. That's the show, man. I love y'all very much. As always, you know the drill. Subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon. Support the show on Patreon. The link is below. It's real independent media, y'all. So thank you for everybody who gives $2 a month or $5 a month. Couldn't do it without you. I never talk to an advertiser. I never will talk to an advertiser. That's directly because of your support. Also, sign up for Crystal Kylan Friends on Substack and go sub to Corin's World, the YouTube channel. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Peace. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.